Okay, at this once again. Now, what I'm doing is I put it in program mode, okay, 4K 30. It was still a little shaky. I don't know what it is, but I put it in vivid mode. So sunset happened, and I'm going to put it at -1. There you go. And I'll leave it at that. So hopefully it doesn't get lower than 1/30th of a shutter speed, okay? It's looking pretty good. You can see the clouds. I love the blue. I found my other tripod, so I'm happy about that, but I'm still going to order some more ball heads. I got the air conditioning on low. It's 91 degrees, but I think that was in the garage. So now it went down to 90. Picture quality looks good. And the street or the road doesn't look overblown too much. There's a new stoplight. So I don't see much flaring. So the picture quality looks good. I'm looking for stuttering now. I messed around with the S and Q, so I put it at 60 each, just in case I'm getting a lot of stuttering. I'm going to have to look at where you have motion blur on the side, and it's supposed to stop that too, but I haven't found the setting yet. Here. I'm going to go to QT. So see, I get a little nervous when I start seeing cars parked. And people inside on their cell phones. So I'm going to park over here. And it's looking awesome. The picture is looking awesome. So I'm going to park here, go inside, and I shall be right back. Okay, so it's looking good. I'm going to reverse. So I'm just doing a quick trip. I'm going to go to Evans Road and come back. Reason being is I'm trying out this mode in -1 exposure compensation. I'm just trying to see if everything's back to normal, okay? I'm also doing vivid. You know, when the colors pop. I did FL today, and now I'm going to do vivid. And yeah. So you'll see part of the hood. I didn't raise it too high, okay? And I like the reflection of the lights on the hood. A lot of people like that too. I'm waiting for a file from Peter so that I can do some computer stuff or calculations. So my 3900X water pump is not working for the radiator. That's okay. I'm thinking of selling off pieces, getting rid of computers. I'm redoing a video I did last night when I drove in San Antonio, but it's in 1080p 60. I want to look at the quality on that. I'll decide if I'm going to put it up or not. I am going to put up this video just to take a look at it. So it's at 1/30th of a shutter speed f1.8. It did not go to 115. Okay, I don't know why it went to 115 yesterday. So something happened as I was getting to the end of my driving in old San Antonio last night that I started seeing some stuttering problems. So I might have hit the camera by accident or whatever, but that's always happening. But the tripod looks good, camera looks good. And it may seem a little overblown on the LCD screen. Never trust it. Never trust it. Because sometimes it's too dark, it's just right. So, and it looks bright here, but it might be perfect on the TV. So the LCD screen, you just frame your picture and hope for the best. Hope that the camera recognizes your settings. I do have it on automatic white balance, so that's good. The other day I had it in incandescent lighting, and it was a blue. And who knows, I may have picked the underwater one. I've done that before too. You know, I messed around and I forgot to change the white balance again. Okay, I'm looking at flaring. So I see it's going like 150, 160. That's good. One-30th at dark areas, and I'm going to go into the parking lot up here just to make sure that it stays in 1/30th, because once it goes to 115, you start seeing stuff stuttering. That's why I put it also in or high definition today. 1/60th. I'm going to go into the dark area. 130. I'm just making sure that's staying in 130. Yep. It's looking good. Oh, it's looking awesome. Just 1,000 of ISO 1250. That's good. I like it there. 1.8. I got it at 18 millimeters also, folks. So I'm trying to help out the camera as much as possible. I can bring it to, and I'll show you at the end of this road. We're gonna make a U-turn. So you see a lot of flaring at 1.8, okay? So watch this. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna bring it up. Let's see, was it 2.2? 2.5. Let's go to 2.2 at 20 millimeter. Okay. Continuing. All right. So you see the flaring's still not under control, but it's better. And it's still at 1/30th of shutter speed, 2.2. -1 exposure compensation. Let's test out these lights on these vehicles. Are they too bright? Guy says, what is he doing? He's making a U-ey. That's what he's doing. Okay, now, see how clear this tree is right here? Now I'm gonna bring it up. 2.5, 23 millimeter. 2.8, 25 millimeter. Yeah, let's try f2.8. Let's look at the lights. See, it's a little bit more under control. Look at the light on that Humvee or truck or whatever it was. So see, this is what I do. I test out the different cameras with different lenses. Okay. Now, let's bring it up a little bit closer. 28 millimeters, 3.2. 30 millimeter, 3.5. 32, 4, 35 millimeter. Now you see, it doesn't like that at f4, 1/30th of the shutter speed. And this is the thing that drives me bonkers. So it's ISO 6400, all right? So let's drive around. And I just want to show you. So at f4, and you saw that light, right? Sony doesn't like it, and it's at a -1. But you see less of the road too, okay? And more of the light because it's pointing up. The camera's pointing up. Is it too dark? So I'm going to be pointing the camera down. Because sometimes you might be getting too much flaring if the camera's, just looking at it. So I'm going to have to move the camera again. But this time I'll point it down at 35 millimeter. And this is the one thing you have to do with the ball head. Because if you increase the lens, the focal length, that's what you get. So let me deal with this. Okay, so I see just right above there. Okay, so let's take a look at it again. I pointed it down, straight ahead. I'm waiting for these cars. But look at it. They're looking sharp. You don't see any flaring. So the lens is not looking at the light. It's at 4.0, and I see no blinking. So I just moved the lens down, all right? Now you see more of the road and less of the sky. And it's not a big white bulb either. You can just see a little bit of the hood and just a little bit off center, all right? Does this look good? Now I can go all the way to the max, all right? 4.5 or whatever, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it at 35 millimeter. Which is kind of like a 50 millimeter on a full frame. But look at the flaring at the stoplight. That's not too bad. Look at the lights, they're not too bad. If I increased it to 40 millimeter, it's still at f4, okay? Now here's 50 millimeter. 45, 48, 50 millimeter, okay? f4. But you notice how the lights came up a little bit, in the flaring? So I would have to point the camera back down. So I'm going to make a right up here. Okay. And I'm going to point it down. So there we go again. See? Right. So there's more road. I try to make it half, okay? And I try to keep it straight. So we're going in a dark area, 1/3 of shutter speed at f4. ISO is at 3200, -1 exposure compensation. Okay, half road, half sky. And I'm going to make a UE up here and come back. Back. I'm trying to find, yeah, there, right here. Okay. There we go. So at least it didn't go to 1/15 of the shutter speed. Still at f4, 50 millimeter. And we're going to take a look at this sign. There we go. And you can't really see it, but it looks real good. Okay, let's look at the lighting. So you don't see much flaring. That's the secret. You keep the lens kind of away from the light so you see less flaring. I would like to have half and half, but sometimes you can't do that because when you come to a stoplight, you see a big red ball or a green. So I'm going to make a right here and then I'll go back home. Well, you see, folks, this is how you make content. You want to test out cameras in the dark, the light, just by moving the lens or the camera, you can see what happens. The picture looks sharp. I'm going to go to this cul-de-sac and look at this sign in the grass, and you tell me how sharp it is, okay? Watch this car on the right. I'm letting it speed up. Yep, he's slowing down. He's going to make a right. This guy says, what is he doing? Okay, so let's do a pan, all right? Look how sharp everything is. There's the sign, no dumping, no trespassing, whatever. This is the beginning of the runoff on the ditch, all right? Now look at the lights. The reason why you can't see the lights that much is because it's at 50 millimeters. So 50 times 1.5 is 75, okay? So you see no lights, you'll see the green lights, you know, that's about it. But you don't see much flaring, do you? Because it's controlled and it's pointing a little bit downward, but also, since I'm at f4, 50 millimeter on a 1-inch sensor, it's controlled. That's the way I learn or teach myself, you got to keep adjusting the camera, the lens, and the lighting. And this is what I do. So everything looks sharp. It did not dip below 1/30th of a shutter speed, which was my test. And one last one. So it's 20 miles an hour, and I'm going 15. Guy playing his basketball. One-third shutter speed, f4. Okay, so you don't see any lighting. So there's one light. But you see, it doesn't flare much, does it? Because the camera's pointing down, and also it's at 50 millimeter. I can go a little bit further, and then you get less wide field of view. So I'm going to show you something by turning around, and then I'm going to go back to 18 millimeters. That lighting that you see on the top of the hill, that's a house, and it's pretty high up. I say it's about, what is that, 200 feet? Okay, so this is all nice and clear. Now watch what happens. I'm going back down all the way to 18 millimeters, which is kind of like a 27, okay? So, now, 1.8, 1/4 of shutter speed. Now look at the light. But you see it's controlled because I got the camera pointing down. So all you did was, I'm just trying to show you different apertures, but I'm pointing the lens down. Of course, you see the hood and my dashboard, unfortunately, but I'm just trying to prove a point. So if you like this type of content, please give me a like, subscribe. Any questions or comments, just put it down below. Thank you for watching. And remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and until next time, I will see you then. Goodbye, folks.